Story 1. My husband is dying and I'm pregnant. My husband is dying and doesn't know that I'm pregnant. This is complete. I am 39 years old. I have 2 teenage children and I am married to Steve, is 40 years old. Sorry if that's all will seem like nonsense to you. History and truth complicated. Our marriage was essentially a marriage out of convenience. Steve and I were both divorced and were friends for decades. This in the spring. Steve learned that he had a rare cancer and doctors gave him about 6 months' life. 3 years ago, Steve found his daughter, which he had before marriage from casual relationship in his youth. When I found her, it turned out that she was his daughter. I was 10 years old at the time. I'll call her Sarah. Was subjected to terrible bullying from his mother, who seems to have had some kind of mental breakdown. In general, it lasted a whole year. Fought for custody of the child, whom I haven't seen it since infancy, and as a result won it. Then for almost 2 years he worked on their relationship so that Sarah recovered and began to trust him. And surprise, he dies. So the marriage was mainly for Sarah's sake. They said that legally it would be easier, also that after Steve's death, the guardianship, I got it over Sarah if suddenly her mother will try to take her away again. And yes, I 100% want custody of Sarah without questions. I love her very much. She's already my children's sister and almost the same age as them. This girl has come a long way. She has. Once there weren't even shoes, but now she's smart, funny, and overall amazing girl. Steve and Sarah also got married without a wedding, moved into my house. All the kids knew that it's happening, and surprisingly, calmly accepted. Well, yes, something happened. Between me and Steve, he admitted that he's been in love with me for a long time, and I just reciprocated his feelings. Although she was not, I'm 100% sure of my feelings. Everything. It happened quickly. Maybe I did it, it's wrong, but I wanted him to. The last few months have been happy. Both I and I really care about him. In recent weeks, Steve has suddenly started to hand over. He was mostly at home, excluding short hospitalizations. Nurses come every day. He forced painkillers, so sometimes he is in himself, and sometimes he is completely out of it. He literally dying right in front of me eyes, and it's so hard. And so this week I found out that I was pregnant. I'm not sure I want to keep the baby. I'm old. I already have 3 teenagers. That need to be taken care of. I'm serious. I think I shouldn't tell Steve about it at all. Pregnancy. But it seems wrong. Tell him too wrong. He is more tormented by the fact that he leaves Sarah, rather than that he dies. And if he finds out that he is leaving behind another child, that will only make his getting worse. It seems like terminating the pregnancy is a good idea. Wrong. Leaving the child too wrong. Everything in this situation wrong. And I just want a cigarette and a bottle of wine. And it's very hard to explain the relationship between me and Steve, but I'll at least try for myself. Put everything in its place. We were friends. I got married too early. Huge mistake. By the time I divorced, he was married. When he got divorced, the youngest child had serious health problems. Then Sarah was at the center of his life. Somewhere in the midst of all this, we worked at full capacity stake, buried 3 parents, made and received drunken late night calls from or to our exes. But sometimes calls from my ex were straight from the cell, but it all came down to time. It was just never been enough. This year, being together as single parents, we were great team. Steve taught my lad, the older one. Steve called me on work when his daughter started periods. God, that was funny. We always had each other's backs. I was starting to fall in love with him. It seemed like it was inevitable. It seemed right. It seemed like we finally had it time, but it wasn't there. And then everything suddenly it accelerated. Compressed, as if someone rewound our life, accelerated, or the writers were in a hurry finish the season to go to work over Star Wars. So yeah, I love Steve, but the last few months seemed strange and artificial. I grieve more about those relationships that we could have had. We should have had, damn. Take it than about those that we have. In any way, go hug your loved ones, or what's the moral of the story? I wrote more than I wanted to, and now I'm babbling again. Disgusting. Music update 1. I'm almost sure that I'll keep the baby and tell Steve, but I want first sleep with this thought. Besides, Steve has already turned off for the night. Thank you that you listened to. I'll go wash the dishes. I'll feed the cat and go to bed. I'll read. and reply to comments when I can, and I hope to update somewhere before the weekend. Edited. This morning I went to the gynecologist and here's the twist. I'm pregnant, not a month, but more than 3 months already. No, I don't feel any better. I'm furious about it, that I was robbed of my choice again. I'm tired of my life feeling like a train rushing at full speed and which I don't control. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of everyone romanticizing everything. Because everyone says that I'm strong and I feel like I'm just doing the minimum to avoid drowning. I'll stay angry for a while. Thank you. So here's the conversation I'm having. I spent less than 30 minutes with the gynecologist back. I'll convey it in my own words. I'm old. The coil is not dangerous for the child. Doctor, I had pulled it out 5 years ago when it was due expired. I don't remember that at all. Are you sure that was at me? You said then that she don't need it anymore because everything guys and you were going to run away and join a lesbian commune. Yeah, it looks like that. On me. In my defense, I'll say, 5 years. My youngest child had it removed back tumor from the spine and his father showed up at the hospital with a 20-year-old girl. So, yes, perhaps some events of that time have been erased from my memory period. Update 2. It turns out I'm not pregnant. 4 weeks. And about 15. The child is girl. She will be loved and will become a welcome part of our family. I'll tell you to Steve, you can continue writing. Comments. I like them. Answer, but the decision has already been made. Thanks everyone. Edited. Received about 5 messages that at this stage, it's impossible to determine the baby's gender. Well, go ahead and argue with the ultrasound technician who was. I'm pretty confident in my words now. I will pour out a stream of words on you. Sorry. Last night when I was writing post, I was just sad and scared. And then so many people turned everything into some kind of romantic. The key is that I got myself involved and went to bed with the thought that I would leave the child and that's it will be wonderful and beautiful. Blah blah blah. And I woke up in the morning, some kind of half crazy, and in a daze afterwards I find out that my sentence is much longer than I thought. And this reality has just knocked the wind out of me. I'm angry, which I never actually had choice. And I'm angry that people think romantic is the fact that it is growing inside me, the child of a dying man. I confess that I came home ready to talk to Steve, but I can't because Sarah is back again, skips school. I understand that she wants to spend time with his father, but I spoke to her that if she will be walking this week, then he will be able to skip the next one. Even with the teacher, I sorted everything out. They started watching the 3rd one. It's the season of Stranger Things and I want to just yell at Steve, what the hell are you doing? You start watching a new series if you don't even know if you'll have time to finish it a sandwich. And of course, I can't do that. Say because you can't yell at dying people and remind them that they're dying. You can't yell and stop it to die when that's exactly what I want. And he's on medication and he's saying that he hopper. And Sarah is 11. No, you're fucking nuts. Not a hopper. You sat at the table for 10 years in office and got fat. And you'll never in your life. I didn't hit anyone. I'm tired of everyone. They are hushing up the truth that life is 90% consists of irritant servicing our stinky meat bags and endless paperwork, and only 10% is something really important. And when this important thing happens, you're even not ready for either good or bad because I'm tired. Thinking about bills and you only pay half attention to what's happening attention. And then you remember, oh, it was the most romantic night of my life. Simply because I decided to remember her like that. Although in fact at that moment I was only thinking about how to take it off tights that itch like crazy legs. And did you feed the cat? Well, okay, I'll go buy some groceries. Thank you for that. Came to my aunt. Comments, I am amazed by your situation, but I have a feeling I don't want this romanticized. Lines, what if you give birth this child? But it looks like he has no choice, you're gone, you'll cope. You will a great mother to all 4 children. There will be good days. There will be bad days, but all 4 will grow up to be normal people. And because in the end that's all that's real, it's important. Good luck to you. And I'm sorry that you have to go through this. Decide, are you keeping the child? If so, please tell me. He will be able to record a video, write postcards, do whatever you want, then you can give it to the child when he will grow up. It would be amazing to know that even if my father died before me birth, he loved me so much that did such things for me. Author, yes, I'll leave her. Of course I'll leave her. I'll tell her. To him, we will make videos and all sorts of things bullshit. Has anyone else seen the movie or the series where mum tried to write postcards for my twins for every day birth before she dies? And not I was able to finish them because it's too painful to think that she's all this will pass. Yes, now I have to again, it's sad. This will be hard for both of you, but you have to go through this. You as the child will have a connection with the father through these postcards or videos or any things, which you will do. Otherwise, he will only photos and yours will remain memories of him. And if there will be real messages from father, child will feel like he's growing up with him even into some extent. Well, how did it go? He was happy. Author, I pressed myself against him, showed the ultrasound and said, "This is our girl," or something like that. He was silent for a minute and then said, "She will be a sister." It was not something I expected it, but I agreed. Yes, he has the daughter will have a sister. Then he asked, could I handle it? And I answered, yes, I can handle it. We lay there in silence for a long time, and that's all. Basically, today he's quiet, but sometimes he's like this. I need to tell children and ask him about recording videos or letters or postcards, but I won't give him some space thoughts, so I can't yet say exactly about his emotional condition. Tomorrow is my last working day, the day before I go to unpaid family leave circumstances. So in the coming days or weeks, we will have more time to talk. Final update. Not sure if anyone generally take a look at this post, but for whoever stumbles upon him in the future, Steve died a few days ago. We're all set. It's okay. Everything is fine. I'm holding up. The paperwork is a complete nightmare. But I figured out the laundry. And yes, everyone who read my comment about Steve and Sarah watched the 3rd season of Stranger Things and didn't warn me about ending, for you there is a separate boiler of water. It was traumatic. Damn it. Irony. Well, now we'll move on to the next one. Stories, but before that I suggest write your opinion in the comments. How? What would you do if you were in the heroine's place? Leave it a child or not? Well, they also said, would you tell your child about his existence? To the dying husband or not? And now let's continue. Story 2. My husband confessed after 6. Story 2. My husband is in love with my sister years together, that he has long been in love with my sister. My sister and I had a shitty relationship. Childhood. Passive mother and abusive father. My sister was my protection and a role model because adults did not fulfill this role. Why did my father get drunk? She tried switch his anger onto himself so that he didn't touch me. When she left for college. Then in those days when I ran away from at home, she let me sleep in her bed. And she lay down on the floor in her room dorm. When I turned 16, she allowed me to move in with her permanently. We will never be with our parents again. We saw each other. My husband is a lot like me. Sister. They are both very calm and kind. Both are very smart. They have same sense of humor. They love the same and the same music, books, movies, and games. It's like something weird and twisted. Coincidence. I fell in love with the male version. His sister. They got along great. And that it was very important to me because they are my only family. We got married a year ago after 6 years relationships. And now I'm 27 weeks pregnant with our first as a child. My sister met with my boyfriend. He's 30 years old. He also got along well with me and my husband, although it always seemed to me that his husband was not especially loves. When I asked him why he was embarrassed and he said that I didn't think it was noticeable and he apologized. He said he just thought he's not good enough for her. Guy's sisters proposed to her. Today we ate pizza, drank beer on the balcony. Sisters, and then he suddenly stood up on one knee and took out the ring. She was very surprised but happy and said, yes, when we got home. My husband was a little tipsy. He said he didn't. He's tired and will take another beer and look TV, and I better go to bed. When I returned to the living room and saw that he's sitting on the couch and crying, I asked, what's going on? And he said that I've been in love with my sister for many years, but he knows it's wrong. He said that he loves me very much and promises be a good husband and father to our daughter. He went to sleep on the couch. I shocked, and I'm torn apart by anxiety. I don't know what to do and how to approach all of this treat. Sister, should she tell me? Nothing will happen anymore. Like before, but she is my only family and my best friend. And is my husband the end? I was so blind. But now everything has become into place. Of course, he loves her. How could I have missed it? Is it possible to save it? This marriage and our family? I promised my daughter a better life than I had. I promised. I wish she had kind and loving parents. I can't allow her to be born into the world where her parents are strangers to each other. What should I do? Well, before we move on to update, I would like you to write your comment about what should the heroine of this do. History. I don't know. In my opinion, there is none here. Some kind of right choice. On the one hand sides, they can just continue live as before. And in fact, not the fact is that after this everything will collapse. In fact, her husband could simply not confess and that's it. Well, yes, he likes it, this sister. And it seems to him that everything she's the only one. But in reality, he doesn't even know if her sister likes him. Maybe the guy was just stupid and overly, I confided in my wife, I wanted to share this with her. And the fact that the heroine can't allow a daughter to be born in a world where her parents are strangers to each other people. Well, this is very sad, of course, because, alas, she already did initially the wrong choice, as many who have such relationships in family. True, often, as far as I know. Usually they choose partners like once again a copy of your parent and not a copy of his sister. Well, here it is like this. Apparently, the sister is really very meant a lot to the heroine of this story. Let's find out what happened next. Update 1. My husband is already awake. And I talked to him. He apologized for that. That hurt me last night. He said he just felt it. Despair, as if I had lost something very much dear and important in his life and grieved about this. He said that he loves me very much and wants everything to work out for us for the sake of us and the child. I asked him if he liked her more than me, and he replied that it's just a different type of love. I asked if he had to choose between me and her. Who would he choose? He said that I did. I asked if he thought so. He is more beautiful than her, and he replied that I objectively more attractive. I asked, was he with me all these years just to be closer to her? He said it was unfair towards him because he really loves me. I asked if he can live normally if he never does again, he won't see her. Tears welled up in his eyes, but he said he would do everything to save our marriage. Then he added that he never had a mother or a female figures in life. That's probably why he saw I'm attached to her, because she's very warm and caring. I asked, so do you love her like a mother, or do you want to be with her? Sleep with him? He didn't want to answer. I asked if he fantasized about her when he was with me. At first he refused to answer and then said, why did you do it yourself? Are you torturing yourself? I asked, you will lose. I'm interested if she's no longer around. In our life and only we will remain. He looked like he was thinking about it for the first time. And then he said that he was choosing me and our child. He wants to start therapy and family counseling because he thinks our marriages still can be saved. Update 2. We had dinner with my sister and her fiancé. The husband was on really silent and did not initiate conversations with my sister. He hardly looks at her. I watched. Overall, the dinner went well. My sister is too happy about the engagement and tomorrow's trip to do something notice. But before leaving, her husband hugged her longer than usual, said he was happy for her and wished you a good trip. Still hugging her. He took her hand and said, I didn't congratulate you properly yesterday because he was drunk, and congratulated her again. Tears came to his eyes again. Then he hugged my sister's fiancé and also congratulated him. On the way home, he was silent. When we returned, he said that he loves me and that he will do everything till we succeeded. But he asked me not to make rash decisions while I offended. We are starting family therapy. I want him to be honest with me on 100%. He asked me not to tell anyone, talk about his confession because it doesn't mean anything. I said I didn't. I want him to be near my sister if I give him a chance. He asked, how is this possible if we are together all the time? His sister will suspect something, but he doesn't want to. So that I tell her because to him I'm ashamed. I replied that he could just minimize communication with her. I said he has to sleep on the couch again because I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do next. And for now, the sofa is his place. What exhausting day. Update 3. I am grateful to everyone who writes and asks about new updates. But, to be honest, I don't have enough yet information to make a separate post. I read all the comments. Thank you. To you. I asked my husband for separate accommodation because I need to be alone to make a decision. We're starting family therapy. Will we stay together or not? But I want to know everything, what he was hiding from me. He thinks that I am torturing myself, but it's not true. tormented by half-truths. I hope that with the help of therapy I will be able to get to the bottom of his feelings in a safe environment. He cried when I said I wanted separate living, said that lost everything in one day because of a drunk confession that meant nothing. He loves me and wants to be with me. He suggested moving in. He already has received job offers several times in other cities. He said that it could be our new beginning. This in the summer we renovated the basement so that make a guest room because the current guest room is turning into nursery. Now he will live in the basement. There is a separate entrance and a kitchenette. Almost ready. I decided not to tell about this sister. This is my battle and my marriage. I love my sister very much, but I will honestly. I'm mad at her now, and I envy her and think that she always was jealous. She's a much better person than me. I hate that there was never a chance to return the good to her, because she was always perfect and I never needed help. It's a shame that she's not as angry as I am the injustice we have experienced. I hate that she is so kind to me and to my husband. I hate that he sees how much better she is than me. And I hate her that I can't blame him for what he loves her. Not me. Update 4. Hello. A month ago I wrote here about how my husband admitted that he had been in love with her for many years, my sister. We're getting divorced and he doesn't want to have nothing to do with our daughter. After his sister's engagement and his confession, he promised me that he would love me and will do everything possible to be a good and loving husband and father. He has not wanted me to talk about my sister because he was ashamed, and we slowly began to plan for the future in another city. He already had opportunity to get a better job, a high-paying job there, and he decided it was time to move on. I agreed. We started going to family psychologist. I told my sister that we were moving and she was upset, but as always, she didn't mind and she supported me. I don't know. It seemed so. Does she find it strange that my husband no longer spends time with us, but she doesn't talk about it? I didn't ask once. I guess I was busy with your happiness and changes in life. After her vacation, she came back and told me she was pregnant. She just was beaming with happiness. That's why everything is so the engagement quickly took off. Her fiancé wanted to get married before the baby was born. She asked me to keep it in secret. Probably not meant to be even from my husband, but I still tell him she didn't say. She wanted to wait for the second trimester for the official announcement. In the end, she burst into tears because that I leave when she needs it in me most of all, but then she apologized for selfishness. She realized that we must provide my daughter with a better life. I cried for a whole week. A week ago, my husband went to an interview in another city and was going to stay there a week to sign a lease new apartment. We thought at first take a closer look at the new city first, then selling our house and buying a new one. On Tuesday, my sister and her boyfriend announced that they were expecting a baby. It was on the next day after the husband's interview, and not even half an hour had passed before my husband called me. He was drunk and crying, asked if it was true and if I knew. He called me a cruel liar for that I hid my sister's pregnancy from him. He said it was so unfair that my sister's fiancé is a loser and her groom, the carpenter, is unworthy of her. And my sister, the pediatrician, said that he needed to stay alone and then turned off the phone. On Friday, he sent a message that Moore doesn't want to be with me and doesn't want to be part of our daughter's life. He apologized, but said that he can't do this anymore. If I agree to free him from his parents' rights duties, he will leave the house to me. I tried to call him, but he again turned off the phone. I cried all night. Yesterday morning, my sister called and asked, "What's going on?" Her husband asked her, "Meet because I wanted to say something personal." He said he would come to Monday. She asked what it was. That means. But I didn't have the strength for something explain. Today she will come to me with my fiancé, and apparently I'll have to tell her everything. Final update. Hi. I knew I could count on for your support. My sister arrived and I told her everything. It was easier for me. Show my posts here because I just didn't have the strength to go into detail, explain everything I've been through during these weeks. I said that my husband asked her about the meeting, so that, most likely, confess my love to her or maybe with some other nasty proposal, so that she needs to stay away from him. Her fiancé was literally seething with anger. My sister just cried. apologized and tried to hug me and stroke me hair. I didn't like her touching and I don't know why. I understand that it is not her fault. I said, sister, that now that I have her, I warned you. I want to be alone and not want no contact with either her or any of them. I'm thinking about moving to another city. There is a small town in the north where one of my friends moved, best school friends after marriage. Everything is better and cheaper there. I can easily find it. There is a small housing for rent. Not yet the divorce will be finalized and I will be able to do it without any problems, get a job. If I can get a foothold there, I'll be able to give birth there calmly without unnecessary stress. I wrote to my husband that I told him about my sister, everything, and that neither she nor her fiancé were glad of his confession. An hour later he called, apologized and said that he didn't know I wanted to scare her, I just wanted to see her and say goodbye. But if she is scared, he won't bother her. He said that he's still the same person and will not allow that something happened to her, but about me, and he didn't ask the child anything. He remains in the new city in September, starts a new job. He said that maybe he'll come to say goodbye before final move to a new city. My sister later wrote that she loves me and what will go aside if I do this I want to, but I begged you not to move because that she needs me and is ready for anything to make amends for the wine. I don't, she replied. I hate that she's like this. Perfect and kind. Fuck her. Well, that's all. There are no more updates. I completely understand, of course, the heroine's feeling. And although it turns out that the sister is not to blame for anything, but in essence, it turns out that she beat off husband. It's a pity, a great pity, that not only would I have to leave my asshole husband, but also with my sister, who is essentially not here, which is not my fault. At least I am. I hope it's not my fault. Write to comments. What do you think about all this? Thank you for listening to these stories to the end. See our the previous video you will see here. Be sure to subscribe to our channel if for some reason it's not already done. And good luck.